Hi there and a warm welcome to Get Indie Gaming, where we look at a further 20 indie titles, possibly out over the course of 2019, we're most excited about and looking forward to playing. As in our previous video, in no particular order, first up and coming from a single developer, Omno is a 3D explorative puzzle game with a nod towards Journey and more recently Rhyme with its design, use of shading and its colour schemes. You'll play through a number of different biomes, seemingly without conflict or enemies to fight, with your magic staff to help you drive forwards. Expected on the PC and consoles this September. Sable looks like a graphic novel and sees players assume the role of a young wanderer, having found themselves on a large, strikingly rendered open-world barren planet. It's said players will be able to meet and befriend other characters, and while you explore the landscape, you'll learn the history of the world's inhabitants and Sable's place within it. It'll be coming to the PC and perhaps consoles at some point in 2019. Taking place in the northeast of England in October 24th, 1987, the occupation sees you play as a journalist investigating what's been called a terrorist explosion, which has caused the government to instigate an oppressive protective act of law. The game plays out in real time, where you talk, snoop and pry on people to help uncover the truth in this classic-looking adventure game. Said to pick up where the original left off, although thus far for a game said to be out in 2019, there's minimal available gameplay footage to judge how this might turn out. Still, after a 13-year wait for the sequel, we've crossed all our fingers and toes in the vain hope by this time next year, this quirky platformer will have delivered upon the $3.8 million pledged to it on Fig back in 2016. The fifth game in this countdown, Sommerville, looks to offer something of a War of the Worlds type of atmosphere, with it being a sci-fi action-adventure game chronicling the lives of a number of people after a global catastrophe. One half of the team behind Sommerville is Dino Patti, who many of you know oversaw the work on Inside and Limbo, and with this heritage we're expecting an arcade-type experience with stealth and action sequences. Set in ancient India, with its hand-painted environment, Raji, an ancient epic, sees you play as a young girl chosen by the gods to defend the human realm and rescue her brother from a demonic invasion. Our interest in Raji comes from the character art, with its inspiration from Southeast Asia, together with what appears to be a fluid and sublime set of combat mechanics. Raji, an ancient epic, is expected to arrive sometime in Q1 for PC and Xbox. Expected to come to the PC and perhaps consoles, Nightcall, with its broody and highly noir adventure stylings, will take you into the driver's seat of a Parisian cab driver. You'll crisscross the city, digging up information on a number of interconnected murders of customers your taxi firm have recently ferried around the capital. By listening to your passengers and collecting the clues, you'll help stop the killer. Spelunky 2, the sequel to the much-loved original, will come to the PlayStation 4 and will feature a new hero. Anna Spelunky, the daughter of the original character, will make her way through randomly generated tombs, caves and more. The trailer footage so far highlights the online multiplayer aspects of this sequel, where players will choose from a selection of characters to explore the game and discover hidden treasure. Taking the form of an emotional survival game within a randomly generated city, NeoCab launches on February 5th onto the PC. You play as Lena, the last human rideshare driver in a city disrupted by automation. With a diverse cast, in-game economy and emotion system having been labelled as something that's completely original, this story-driven adventure has a Papers, Please feeling to it, where the job is the driver of the events and the narrative. Halfway through the rundown, Atone is a 2D, story-driven puzzle game based on Norse mythology. Players will solve puzzles, navigate through conversations, and of course there will be fighting. These fights appear to have elements from rhythm games, each having their own distinct musical components that change with the player's input. So far, Atone looks and sounds impressive, with it coming to the PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox at some point during the year. Give us a decent top-down racing game and we'll play it for hours. And with Apex Racing League presented here in the hope that it might come in 2019, this 3D semi-isometric affair just looks so wholesome and warming. With numerous car classes, different circuits and weather scenarios, and an online multiplayer, we would be very happy to see and play this as soon as possible. Coming to the Sega Mega Drive with ports, yes, that does sound quite odd, onto the PlayStation 4, Switch, PC and others. Xeno Crisis is an arena shooter taking its cues from Contra, Smash TV, plus many others of a similar type. The nostalgia here is high in Xeno Crisis, with its looks and sounds pulling us back towards Saturday kids TV shows and afternoons convincing oneself Altered Beast was worth putting up with. Halibut features characters and backgrounds created from clay, cloth, wood and other materials, and it's something quite unlike anything we've seen before. The gameplay mechanics we suspect might be fairly simple, although that's not necessarily a bad thing if implemented with care and skill. We understand from those who have spent some time playing early versions, Halibut's wow factor comes from the narrative, which keeps players invested and seeking more. Felix the Reaper is a romantic comedy 3D shadow manipulation game. You're responsible for making sure the right people die at the right time and at the right place. Using professional dancers and stop-motion capture methods to match their movements onto Felix as he throws some shapes around the board gives Felix the Reaper that touch of class we've not seen in a game for a fairly good while now. Felix the Reaper will come to PC and all the major consoles. Our 15th game in this rundown, Pepper Grinder, will have you in a set of space pirate shoes with a drill called Grinder. You'll use this drill to cut through the earth and get around the levels, aided with a grappling hook to swing to places you couldn't normally get to. While there's no firm date for its launch, we expect this fighting game cum platformer should make its way out at some point during the second half of 2019. With its stunning visuals and isometric perspective, Eitr lands on the PC and PlayStation 4 with a tale like Atone that's steeped in Norse mythology. Given the combat seems based on learning attack patterns and monitoring your stamina, there's no other comparison to make here that makes as much sense as calling it a pixel-driven Souls-like. It seems riveting, and while a long time in production, it's perhaps our most wanted game of this whole showreel. And now something completely different. The Stillness of the Wind, said to be out when its goats are ready, is a farming type of simulation where you can make your own routine. You'll tend to goats, make cheese with their milk, amongst other things collect eggs and barter with visitors to your remote farm. Billed as a quiet game of life and loss with an ominous looking shotgun featuring in the trailer, The Stillness of the Wind will be on the PC via Steam later in the year. In Other Waters is a highly stylish looking game about finding life and a missing biologist within an alien ocean, all while looking at and into the relationships between you and an AI. Coming from a small team led by Gareth Martin, it might be a little too early to call this as coming out in 2019, although we're keen to raise its profile for others to see. With a demo available via the game's website, you can get a taste of how this plays and looks today. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is a side-scrolling platformer with RPG and crafting elements. It's being developed for the PlayStation 4, PC, Xbox and the Switch. Your play as Miriam, an orphan scarred by an alchemist's curse that's slowly crystallizing her skin. To save yourself, and in keeping with such tales all of humanity, you're going to battle your way through a demon-filled castle to confront and destroy the source of the evil. And finally, the last of our games we're most excited about seeing next year is Ooblets, often described as one of the leading indie game darlings of recent times, and a game that will feature gameplay in line with Harvest Moon mixed with Pokemon plus a dash of Animal Crossing. It'll come to the PC and Xbox and looks all rather cute and will be published by Double Fine. All in, well, it just looks so very, very pretty. Well, that's it. We're all out of games for our 2019 preview videos, and while there's going to be a fair few of your choices we missed, why not take a moment to let us know which games you're most looking forward to down in the comments. Many thanks for watching, we really appreciate you coming along, and if you haven't already, now would be an awesome time to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any indie game news, reviews and countdowns. Until next time, we hope you have a wonderful day and look forward to seeing you back here soon.